She betrayed the man who loved her most for gifts from her boss. But when betrayal, temptation, and shame collide, will love to survive or will greed destroy everything? Watch Naomi's shocking journey of temptation, heartbreak, and redemption unfold. Before you continue, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this powerful story. The day Naomi wore the gold bracelet home, her marriage began to crack. She did not know it yet. The bracelet was small but heavy, shining under the Accra sun as she stepped out of the office building. People stared. Some admired it. Some judged quietly. Naomi only smiled and adjusted her blouse, feeling important in a way she had not felt for years. At home, her husband Ethan was waiting. Ethan Brooks was a simple man. He worked with a private logistics company in Accra, earning just enough to pay rent, buy food, and dream small dreams. He loved Naomi deeply. He trusted her completely. That trust was his weakness. When Naomi walked in, Ethan noticed the bracelet immediately. "Wow," he said with a smile. "That's beautiful." Naomi froze for half a second. Just half a second. But lies are born in moments like that. "Oh, it's from the office," she replied casually. "They gave us gifts for meeting targets." Ethan nodded. He did not ask questions. He never did. That night, while Ethan slept beside her, Naomi stayed awake. Her mind replayed the moment her boss, Victor Hale, slid the small velvet box across his desk earlier that day. "You deserve to be appreciated," Victor had said, his voice calm, his eyes steady on her face. Victor Hale was powerful, British-trained, polished. He ran the West African branch of the company, moving between Accra and Abuja like a king without borders. He was married too, rich, influential, dangerous in quiet ways. Naomi had tried to refuse the gift. "I can't accept this, sir." Victor smiled. "It's just a thank you, Naomi. Don't make it bigger than it is." But it was bigger. Naomi knew it. She had joined the company 2 years ago, full of hope. Back then, Ethan and she were happy, even when money was tight. They laughed at empty wallets. They prayed together. They planned a future. But life changed slowly. Ethan's promotions never came. Naomi's salary began to carry the home. Respect shifted. Silence grew longer. Arguments became common. Love did not disappear, but it became tired. Victor noticed that tiredness. He noticed the way Naomi stayed late, the way she worked harder than everyone else, the way she flinched when her phone rang at night. "You work like someone who is running from something," he once told her. That sentence stayed with her. The gifts started small. Lunches, paid rides home, compliments that sounded professional but felt personal. "You're too intelligent to be struggling like this. You deserve comfort. You deserve more." Each word landed softly, but they piled up inside her heart. And Naomi began to listen. Back in their bedroom, Ethan turned in his sleep and held her waist. "Good night, my love," he whispered. Naomi closed her eyes. Guilt pressed on her chest like a stone. She had not touched Victor. Not yet. But her heart was already walking ahead of her body. The next morning, Victor sent a message. "I'll be in Abuja next week. I'd like you to come along. Work trip." Naomi stared at the screen. Her hands shook. This was not normal. This was not safe. This was a door she could still refuse to open. But another message followed. "The allowance will help. I know things are tight at home." Tight. That word burned. Ethan was proud. He hated borrowing. He hated asking for help. He had refused money from his own brother last month. Naomi remembered the night they argued over unpaid electricity bills. The way Ethan's voice broke when he said, "I'm trying." She looked again at the bracelet on her wrist. Then she typed back, "Okay, sir." The moment she sent it, something inside her shifted. That evening, Ethan told her some news. "They're transferring me to Abuja," he said excitedly, "just for a few months. Better pay. This could change everything." Naomi's heart dropped. Abuja, the same city, the same time, the same secret. She forced a smile. "That's great." Ethan hugged her tightly. "God is answering our prayers." Naomi said nothing, because she knew something Ethan didn't. And by the end of that week, her choices would follow her across borders. Not as a wife, but as a woman standing at the edge of betrayal. And the price would be far higher than any gift. The city was loud, busy, and confident, nothing like the quiet doubts inside her chest. As she stepped out of the airport, the tall buildings and fast-moving cars made her feel small and powerful at the same time. Victor was already waiting. He leaned against a black SUV, phone in hand, looking relaxed, in control. When he saw Naomi, his eyes lingered for a second too long. "You made it," he said calmly. Naomi nodded. "Yes, sir." "Please," he replied, opening the car door for her. "Call me Victor. We're not in Accra." That sentence landed hard. Inside the car, silence filled the space. Not awkward silence, dangerous silence. The kind that says something is coming. Naomi tried to focus on the city outside. She told herself this was work, just work. But the hotel Victor booked told a different story. It was tall, expensive, quiet. 2 rooms, same floor. That's for convenience, Victor explained as they checked in. "Meetings will start early." Naomi nodded again. She nodded too much. That evening, the team gathered for dinner. Laughter, business talk, glasses clinking. Naomi played her role well, professional, focused, careful. But Victor watched her closely. When dinner ended, others returned to their rooms. Naomi stood up too, ready to escape. "Naomi," Victor called softly, "walk with me." She hesitated. Then she followed. They walked through the hotel garden. Lights hung above them. Abuja breeze brushed her skin. "You've been quiet," Victor said. "I'm just tired." "No," he replied. "You're scared." Naomi stopped walking. "I shouldn't be here like this," she said quickly. "I'm married." Victor faced her fully now. His voice dropped. "So am I." Silence. "That doesn't stop you?" Naomi asked. Victor sighed. "Life doesn't reward loyalty. It rewards boldness." Naomi felt her heart beating too fast. "You know what I can do for you," Victor continued. "A promotion, a transfer, a life without stress." Naomi thought of Ethan. At that exact moment, her phone vibrated. "Ethan, I just landed too. Abuja traffic is mad, but I'll see you soon. Love you." Her chest tightened. Victor noticed her expression. "Your husband?" he asked. "Yes." "Does he make you happy?" Naomi opened her mouth and closed it again. Victor stepped closer. Too close. "I see how you look when you're tired," he said gently. "I see how you carry everyone's burden. Let someone carry yours." Naomi's hands shook. "This is wrong," she whispered. "Yes," Victor replied, "and that's why it feels honest." Before she could think, before she could run, Victor leaned in and kissed her. It was quick, soft, but final. Naomi pulled back immediately, breathless, eyes wide. "No," she said. "We can't." Victor did not chase her. He only nodded. "Think about it," he said. "Nothing is forced." That night, Naomi cried in the shower. She scrubbed her lips until they hurt. She prayed. She begged God to rewind time, but time does not listen. The next morning, she met Ethan. Seeing him broke her. Ethan looked happy, hopeful, proud of himself. He hugged her tightly. "I missed you," he said. Naomi forced a smile and hugged him back, hiding her face in his shoulder so he wouldn't see the tears. That day, Victor kept his distance. That made it worse. By evening, Naomi received a notification. Promotion approved. Regional project lead. Her hands trembled. Along with the email came a message from Victor. "Congratulations, you earned this." Naomi stared at the screen. She knew she hadn't earned anything. She had traded something instead. That night, Ethan talked about their future. A better house, children, peace. Naomi listened like someone attending her own funeral. Because she knew the truth. The kiss was not the end. It was the beginning. And Abuja had seen everything. Naomi felt it the moment the first alert entered her phone. Salary increase confirmed, allowances approved, benefits unlocked. The numbers looked unreal, bigger than anything she and Ethan had ever planned for. She stared at the screen for a long time. Then she locked it. Because happiness didn't come with the money, relief did. Back in Accra, life moved faster. Naomi dressed better. She wore perfumes she once only tested in stores. She drove home in company cars. Security guards now opened doors for her. People listened when she spoke. Victor kept his distance, professionally. No touches, no late-night messages. Just calm authority and silent understanding. That made Naomi relax. It made her careless. At home, Ethan noticed the changes. "You look different," he said one evening as Naomi stepped into the living room dressed for a work event. "You look expensive." Naomi laughed lightly. "Is that a problem?" "No," Ethan replied quickly. "I'm just not used to it." That night, Ethan suggested they pray together. Naomi said she was tired. It was the first time she refused. The money solved many problems. Bills disappeared. Groceries no longer required arguments. The house felt lighter. But something else grew heavier. Distance. Naomi returned late often. Meetings, calls, deadlines, all true, all convenient. Ethan began eating alone. One night, Ethan waited up. The food grew cold. When Naomi entered, he stood up immediately. "Is everything okay at work?" he asked. "Yes," she replied, avoiding his eyes. "At home?" he pressed. Naomi sighed. "Why are you asking me like I'm a child?" Ethan flinched. "I just miss you." The words irritated her more than they should have. "I'm doing this for us," she snapped. "For our future." Ethan nodded slowly. "I know. I'm grateful." But gratitude didn't fill the space between them. Victor began appearing more, subtly. A meeting that ended late, a ride home, a quiet drink after work with important partners. Naomi told herself she was strong enough now. She was wrong. One evening, after a long meeting, Victor walked her to the car. "You've grown," he said. "Because of the job," Naomi replied quickly. Victor smiled. "Because you stopped apologizing for wanting more." That sentence unlocked something dangerous inside her. They didn't touch. But the silence between them felt intimate. At home, Ethan shared good news. "My company confirmed my Abuja transfer again," he said. "We might finally move to a better place." Naomi forced excitement. Inside, fear spread. Abuja again. The city where everything changed. That night, Naomi received a message from Victor. "I'll be in Abuja next week. You're leading the presentation this time." Her heart raced. She typed back slowly. Noted, short, professional, safe. But she didn't delete the message, and that mattered. The next day, Ethan noticed something small. Naomi's phone buzzed during dinner. She turned it face down. "Who's that?" he asked gently. "Work," she replied, too fast. Ethan nodded, but his eyes followed her phone. Trust, once broken, does not make noise. It leaks. That night, Ethan prayed, alone. Naomi watched from the bedroom doorway. She felt like a stranger in her own house. The money had brought comfort, but it had also taught her something painful. It is easy to betray love when life starts rewarding silence. And somewhere between Accra and Abuja, Naomi was learning how to live two lives. Both of them were beginning to collapse. Ethan did not accuse Naomi. He watched her. That was worse. He noticed how she no longer rushed home, how her laughter sounded forced, how her phone never left her hand, even in sleep. Trust doesn't break loudly. It bleeds slowly. One morning in Accra, Ethan pretended to leave for work early. He waited outside instead. When Naomi stepped out later, dressed sharply and smelling of expensive perfume, she did not look like a woman going to a normal office day. She looked prepared. Ethan followed her from a distance, not because he wanted to catch her, because he needed peace. Naomi entered a cafe near her office. 10 minutes later, Victor arrived. Ethan's chest tightened. From across the street, Ethan watched them through the glass. They did not touch. They laughed softly. They leaned in. Too close. Too familiar. That was enough. That night, Ethan said nothing. He cooked dinner. He asked about her day. He smiled. Naomi relaxed. She thought the danger had passed. The next day, Ethan visited Naomi's office, not to confront her, to understand. The receptionist greeted him politely. "Who are you here to see?" "My wife, Naomi Brooks." The receptionist hesitated. "Just for a second. She's in a meeting with Mr. Hale." Ethan thanked her and waited. The meeting ended 30 minutes later. Victor walked out first. He saw Ethan. Their eyes met. Victor understood immediately. Naomi followed. When she saw Ethan standing there, her face drained of color. "What are you doing here?" she asked too loudly. "I came to surprise you," Ethan replied softly. Victor extended his hand. "Victor Hale." Ethan shook it, firm, calm. "The man who buys my wife gifts," Ethan said gently. The air froze. Naomi whispered, "Ethan, please." Victor smiled thinly. "I appreciate good staff." Ethan nodded. "So do I. I appreciate honest marriages." He turned and walked away. That night, the house felt smaller. Ethan sat Naomi down. "I won't shout," he said. "I won't fight. I just want the truth." Naomi cried. Not because she was innocent, because she was cornered. "It's not what you think," she said. "That's what everyone says," Ethan replied. She admitted the gifts. The promotion helps, the kiss, not the feelings, not the hunger. Ethan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he stood up. "I trusted you with my weakness," he said, "and you sold it." Naomi tried to hold him. He stepped back. "I need time," he said. The next morning, Ethan packed a small bag. "I'm going to Abuja," he said. "For work." Naomi knew that was not the full truth. As he left, Victor sent a message. "You should stay calm. Emotions ruin careers." Naomi stared at the screen. For the first time, Victor did not feel like safety. He felt like a trap. And in the silence of the house, Naomi realized something too late. She had lost the one man who loved her for free. Abuja did not welcome Naomi this time. It tested her. The city felt colder, even under the same sun. Naomi arrived alone, carrying more than luggage, fear, guilt, and a reputation she no longer controlled. Victor upgraded her hotel room. She did not thank him. "You should rest," he said calmly. "Tomorrow will be intense." Naomi nodded, but her stomach twisted. Victor's voice no longer sounded supportive. It sounded possessive. That night, she called Ethan. It rang. Voicemail. She tried again. Nothing. The silence was louder than shouting. The next morning, the boardroom was full. Big men, sharp suits, important decisions. Naomi led the presentation flawlessly. Her voice was steady. Her hands did not shake. Applause followed. Victor watched with pride and expectation. After the meeting, he called her aside. "You see," he said, "you belong at this level." Naomi looked at him directly. "At what cost?" Victor's smile faded slightly. "Cost is irrelevant," he replied. "Results matter." That evening, Victor invited her to dinner. "Professional," he said. Naomi refused. Victor's tone changed. "You're forgetting who opened these doors." Naomi felt the threat beneath the words. Later that night, Ethan finally called. His voice was tired. "I'm in Abuja," he said. "I saw things. I heard things." Naomi's heart stopped. "What do you mean?" "Your name," Ethan replied quietly. "Your boss." Silence stretched. "I never slept with him," Naomi said quickly. Ethan laughed softly. "That's not the point anymore." Tears rolled down Naomi's face. "I want to fix this," she begged. Ethan sighed. "Then stop lying. To everyone, including yourself." The next day, Victor summoned her. His office door closed behind them. "You're becoming difficult," he said. "I'm becoming honest," Naomi replied. Victor stood up. "You think honesty protects you? I can destroy everything you've built." Naomi stood her ground. "Then do it. I'm done." Victor's eyes hardened. "You'll regret this." Hours later, Naomi received an email. Project lead reassigned. Performance under review. The fall was immediate. No calls, no respect, no protection. Naomi sat alone in her hotel room that night, shaking. For the first time, she understood the truth. Power that is given in exchange for silence can be taken back with cruelty. She booked a flight back to Accra, not as a successful woman, but as a broken wife. She did not know if Ethan would forgive her. She only knew she could no longer afford the life Victor offered, because it demanded her soul, and Abuja had collected its payment. Naomi's return to Accra was quiet, almost invisible. She carried her luggage, but heavier than that were her secrets, lies, and regrets. At the gate of their apartment, she paused. The familiar building felt strange, like a stage she had no right to enter. Ethan was waiting, not outside, not shouting, just in the living room, silent. His eyes were steady, full of a mixture she could not read. Hurt, anger, love. "Naomi," he said softly. She could barely speak. I'm sorry," she whispered, voice breaking. "For everything." Ethan nodded slowly. "Sorry doesn't erase it, but it's a start." Naomi tried to smile. It faltered immediately. The next day, news of her Abuja misstep leaked quietly in the office. Colleagues whispered. Some congratulated her for bravery in refusing Victor. Some laughed behind closed doors. Naomi realized her world had become smaller and bigger at the same time. She was exposed, humiliated, but she was alive. At home, her mother called. "Naomi, I heard," her voice trembled. "You must fix things before it's too late. God will help you, but you must be honest." Naomi wept. She realized the betrayal had not only touched Ethan, it had touched her family, her dignity, her faith. That night, Naomi went to church. She knelt quietly in a pew, hands clasped. She did not pray for herself. She prayed for strength, courage, and forgiveness. The pastor noticed her. He walked over. "Naomi, your heart is heavy," he said gently. "Confession does not make you weak. It makes you free." She nodded, tears streaming. "I betrayed my husband. I let greed guide me. I want to make it right." The pastor placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then start by being truthful. Speak to him. Speak to your family. Speak to God." Naomi left the church feeling lighter than she had in months. That evening, she prepared dinner. She waited. Ethan entered quietly. "I don't know if I can forgive immediately," he said, "but I see you trying. That counts for something." Naomi smiled through tears. "I'll spend the rest of my life proving it." The night felt still. For the first time since Victor's gifts, Naomi felt responsibility instead of fear, honesty instead of temptation. But even as she settled into the small peace at home, she knew the road to redemption would be long, and Abuja would not let her forget. Because some mistakes leave echoes that travel far beyond their origin. Naomi thought returning home would solve everything. She was wrong. The news traveled faster than she expected. Rumors of her Abuja scandal and Victor's gifts had reached her extended family and close friends in Accra. Some whispered behind closed doors. Others stared openly at her in markets, offices, and the church. Her younger sister Grace confronted her first. "Naomi, why did you let it happen?" Grace's voice trembled, a mix of anger and sorrow. "Mom is worried, Dad is upset, and Ethan—" Naomi swallowed hard. I was weak. I made mistakes. I'm trying to fix it." Grace shook her head. "Trying? Naomi, people are talking. People are laughing. It's not just about you. It's about all of us." Naomi felt her stomach churn. She had known the world would notice, but she hadn't realized how deep the ripple would go. At church the next Sunday, whispers followed her every step. Naomi knelt at the front pew, cheeks burning. Eyes avoided hers. Even children stared curiously. Pastor Samuel approached quietly after the sermon. "Naomi," he said softly, "you must let your humility speak louder than your shame. Confession alone is not enough. Your actions must follow." She nodded, tears streaking her face. She knew he was right. At home, Ethan was quieter than usual. He worked, ate, and returned, always keeping his distance. Naomi felt the weight of his disappointment and the silent judgment of her family pressing on her chest. She tried to make amends. She visited relatives, apologized, explained, and offered support. Some forgave. Some remained cold. Every door she knocked on felt like a test she wasn't sure she could pass. Then came the market incident. While Naomi shopped for groceries, a vendor whispered loudly enough for the whole line to hear. "Did you hear about Mrs. Brooks? Abuja and that man?" Naomi froze. People turned. Some smiled cruelly. She felt the sting of public shame like hot iron against her skin. She wanted to run, to vanish. Ethan found her outside the market, trembling. He took her hands gently. "Naomi," he said, voice soft, "you can't change what people say, but you can change yourself." She looked into his eyes and for the first time in months saw hope instead of judgment. "I will," she whispered. "I will be better. I promise." That night, Naomi wrote in her journal, "I betrayed trust. I faced shame. I cannot erase it, but I can honor what is left, my love, my family, my integrity, and I will. Abuja might have exposed her weakness, but Accra was teaching her resilience, humility, and courage. For the first time, Naomi understood. True redemption comes from facing shame head-on, not hiding from it. Naomi thought she had left the worst behind. Accra felt safer, familiar. Family slowly forgave. Church welcomed her back. Ethan's cautious smiles gave her hope. But Victor was not done. It started with an email. Project opportunity in Lagos. Travel expenses included. Your talents are needed. Naomi's hands trembled as she read. She deleted the message immediately, heart racing. She thought of Ethan. She thought of her family. She thought of everything she had almost lost. I won't go, she whispered aloud, closing her laptop. But temptation has a way of sneaking in quietly. A week later, Naomi's work required a video call with Victor. He appeared on the screen, smiling, calm, polished, dangerous. You're doing well, he said smoothly. But Lagos is a bigger stage. The next level of your career awaits. Naomi swallowed. I'm focused on Accra for now. Victor's smile didn't falter. Ambition doesn't wait for comfort, and neither should you. His words pressed against her like a shadow. Naomi hung up. She stared out the window at the bustling city below. She could feel the old pull, the memory of gifts, compliments, and that dangerous kiss in Abuja. That night, she told Ethan everything. I got another message from Victor, she said. They want me in Lagos for a new project. Ethan nodded slowly. And I don't want to go, Naomi admitted, but he makes it sound like I'm throwing my chance away. Ethan took her hands. Naomi, you've been given something far more important than a promotion. Integrity, honesty, and a chance to rebuild our life. Nothing Victor offers can compare. Naomi felt a weight lift. But the city outside still whispered promises she knew she could never take. The next day at work, Victor called her again. This time, he asked to meet in Lagos in person. Naomi felt panic. The memory of her last trip, the kiss, the betrayal, the loss, it all came back. She realized she had a choice to make. Accept Victor's offer and risk everything she rebuilt. Or stand firm, stay in Accra, and fight to protect her marriage, family, and integrity. That evening, Naomi sat alone in her apartment. She opened her journal. Temptation will come again. Power is fleeting. Love is precious. I choose love. She closed the journal and placed it on the table. Naomi knew the battle was far from over. Victor would not let go easily. But for the first time in months, her decision belonged entirely to her. Not to gifts, not to fear, not to ambition. She was ready to face whatever came next. Naomi thought the battle was over. She was wrong. Victor's emails grew sharper. His voice over calls became persuasive, almost threatening. Naomi, don't let this city limit you. Lagos, Accra, the board, they all need you. You are wasting potential. Naomi shut her laptop. Her hands shook. Ethan noticed. He was patient, but his eyes were sharp. You're tense, he said softly. Talk to me. It's Victor, Naomi admitted. He wants me to lead a project in Lagos. Again. Ethan took a deep breath. And do you want to go? Naomi looked away. No, but he makes it sound like my career depends on it. Ethan reached for her hand. Naomi, your career will never cost us. Your honesty, our love, that's priceless. For a moment, the city outside felt quiet. But Victor was not done. 2 days later, Naomi received a package at her office. Inside, a gold necklace, a handwritten note. Power is yours if you accept it. Refuse, and opportunities vanish. Naomi felt fear and disgust. She pushed it aside, trembling. Victor called. This time, he spoke in person, arriving at her office unannounced. "Naomi," he said smoothly, "you are making a mistake." "I'm making a choice," Naomi replied firmly, standing tall. "I will not compromise my life, my family, or my values for your gifts." Victor's eyes darkened. "You don't know what you're throwing away." "I know exactly what I'm keeping," Naomi said. "My integrity." Victor leaned closer. "And what about love? Ambition? Freedom?" "I have freedom," Naomi said, calm but strong. "Freedom to be honest, to be married, to be respected. That is more than any gift you offer." Victor paused, studying her. Then, for the first time, Naomi saw a flicker of respect in his dangerous eyes. He left without another word. That night, Naomi returned home. Ethan was waiting. He didn't ask about Victor. He simply hugged her, silent but full of understanding. Naomi finally felt what she had been chasing all along: peace, love, and the power of a choice made with integrity. The next morning, her phone buzzed again. Victor's messages stopped. Naomi smiled softly. She had won, not through wealth, not through gifts, but by choosing truth over temptation. For the first time in months, Abuja, Lagos, and all the offers of power could no longer touch her. She was free, and her marriage, her family, and her conscience were intact. Naomi woke to the soft, morning light streaming through the window. The city outside was calm, almost forgiving. For the first time in months, she felt peace without fear, without temptation, without doubt. She walked to the kitchen. Ethan was already there, quietly making breakfast. The aroma of fresh bread and coffee filled the room. But it was more than the food that warmed her. It was the normalcy, the honesty, the life they were choosing together. "Good morning," Ethan said softly, glancing at her with a smile. Naomi returned the smile, small but genuine. "Morning." They ate together in silence, but it was comfortable. No secrets, no tension, just two hearts cautiously learning to trust again. Later that day, Naomi went to church with her family. This time, she did not kneel in shame. She knelt in gratitude. Pastor Samuel approached her after the service. "Naomi, you have endured much. You have faced temptation, betrayal, and shame. And yet you stand here, choosing honesty and love. That is courage." Tears filled Naomi's eyes. "I just want to live rightly, for my husband, my family, and myself." Back home, she and Ethan talked openly for hours. No lies, no hidden fears. They discussed dreams, mistakes, ambitions, and their shared future. Naomi realized that the real power was never in wealth, gifts, or ambition. It was in integrity, love, and the courage to make the right choice. Weeks later, Naomi's work stabilized. Victor never contacted her again. She focused on growth, not at someone else's expense, but through her own efforts. She learned to say no to temptation and yes to honesty. One evening, Naomi and Ethan walked through a quiet park in Accra. Hand in hand, they watched the sunset. "I almost lost everything," Naomi whispered. "You almost did," Ethan replied gently, squeezing her hand. "But you didn't, and we've got a second chance now." Naomi leaned on him. She felt the weight of past mistakes lift slowly. Every betrayal, Every tear, every regret had taught her a lesson. True love withstands tests, integrity survives temptation, and courage is born in the moments we choose right over easy. The city lights flickered as night fell, but Naomi no longer feared them. She had faced her demons, reclaimed her life, and rebuilt her love. And for the first time in a long time, Naomi smiled without fear. She was free. Dear viewers, what lesson did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear from your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit the subscriber button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.